किसान इंडिया, चलेगा हल, बढ़ेगा बल।
Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale ji, for his presentation.
Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Principal Scientific Advisor Professor Sood, my secretary colleagues from various departments and ministries, and my friends and fellows, media press. I think first of all, Department of Biotechnology की तरफ से आप सबको नववर्ष की शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूँ। और ये वर्ष आपके लिए और साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए और बढ़ोतरी के हिसाब से निकल के आएगा। And I think like the DSC, we also have a small video to play. So basically, I'll just leave it here.
2025 marked a defining chapter in India's biotechnology journey, a year where science, policy, and purpose converged to power Bharat's bio-nirman through BioE3.
BioE3 पॉलिसी भारत सरकार ने बनाई है। मैं देश के नौजवानों को कहता हूं, आइए BioE3 पॉलिसी का अध्ययन करके अब कदम उठाइए। देश का भाग्य बदलना है, आपका सहयोग चाहिए।
From the Red Fort, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi called upon India's youth to lead a science-driven transformation, placing BioE3 at the heart of a Viksit Bharat.
I think at the outset I must compliment Dr. Rajesh. Soon after the Prime Minister's address was over on the 15th of August, the first call that I received, in fact a message before that, WhatsApp follow-up call. He was so excited that the Honorable Prime Minister had made a mention of BioE3 policy and done that quite elaborately, very convincingly, because when Prime Minister speaks something in his Independence Day, it not only becomes a declaration of intent for the government in place, but is also taken very seriously across the country and even outside, and also sets the priority of the government in place. And therefore, one day later, he suggested to me that now, to live up to the tall order that Prime Minister has placed before us, we should be doing something. So I said, okay, you create something, and I'm glad that he's very innovatively come out with this idea, which would be very engagingly involving the youth of this country.
Echoing the Prime Minister's call to youth on 15th August, Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh launched the Design for BioE3 Challenge, empowering young innovators to turn ideas into real-world biotech solutions. Started on 1st November 2025, Design for BioE3 is open for 12 months. Biology today stands at the cusp of scale, driving innovation, manufacturing, resilience, and growth for the nation. 10 winning solutions were felicitated with 1 lakh rupees each by BIRACs through Grand Challenges India, catalyzing a nationwide, youth-led movement powering India's bio-innovation. As biology scales up, Department of Biotechnology, BIRAC and Biotechnology Research and Innovation Council, BRIC, play a pivotal role, driving India's bio-revolution from lab to market. To strengthen indigenous biomanufacturing, the Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh unveiled India's first national biofoundry network, 6 specialized biofoundries enabling scale, speed, and self-reliance. 21 advanced bio-enabler facilities including 8 biofoundries and 13 biomanufacturing hubs across North, South, East and West India were launched nationwide, strengthening India's global leadership in biomanufacturing and self-reliance.
Accomplishing New Year 2026. Coming to the important contributions that we made in the name of DSAR to the welfare of the nation. Under 5 titles, our contributions could be classified: food security, energy security, water security, healthcare security, and strategic security. So DSAR as a department has come up with new schemes by means of which the number of beneficiaries that really crossed few lakhs. And the CEL as one of the PSUs, a big turnaround had happened. From the level of disinvestment, now CEL is a Mini Ratna, successfully showing a lot of success stories and revenue generation. And NRDC is also coming up with success stories by way of hand-holding MSMEs and startups. Coming to CSIR, the autonomous institution, how best CSIR stood relevant to the nation's interest, I wish to show you a small movie. Thank you so very much.
Science is more than discovery. It's hope. It builds, heals, protects, and transforms. And in 2025, CSIR turned this power of science into progress, touching lives and strengthening the nation.
साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी एक प्रकार से विकास का डीएनए है। हमारी नई पीढ़ी साइंटिस्ट बनने के सपने देखे, रिसर्च इनोवेशन में रुचि ले, उनको प्रोत्साहन मिले, उनकी क्षमताओं को जाना जाए, एक बहुत बड़ी आवश्यकता है।
With this vision guiding the nation, CSIR's work in 2025 became a testament to how science can drive real change on the ground. The journey begins on the roads that connect people and possibilities. 2025 marked a historic achievement with the world's first port road built using CSIR CRRI's steel slag technology, a symbol of sustainable engineering and global leadership. With innovations like RejuPet, RejuPave in the mountains of Bhutan, and the lightning-fast EcoFix.
Thank you. And now I invite Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Shri M. Ravichandranji, for his presentation.
Namaskar, respected Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India, Professor Sood, my colleagues, secretaries on the dais, and Madam Matu Singh from PIB and other team from PIB, press, colleagues, and friends from Ministry of Earth Sciences and Ministry of Science and Technology. Very good afternoon to all of you, and I wish you all happy and prosperous and successful New Year, and also second quarter of the 21st century. I'll be briefly summarize what are the major achievements. It is not activities, it is achievement as done by the Ministry of Earth Sciences. As you all know that the Ministry of Earth Science mandate is basically to provide the services for the earth system science, not only for weather and climate, but also in the coastal and also ocean and other areas. And also second important activities is explore and develop various technology for the earth system science. And third one is explore the poles, 3 poles, Antarctic, Arctic, and Himalaya. And basically our objective is to do science, which is required for do better services for the humanity. That is the main focus of our objective. For this objective, we have 3 major programs, of course, schemes. One is a Prithvi scheme, and there are 2 important missions. One is for deep ocean mission, and other one is a mission also. So these 3 missions are basically 3 state of matter. We look at it holistically. That's the main objective. Next slide. So this is basically, I want to put this slide is basically what are the service we provide. So this is all continuous process. It is not only this year's achievement. These are the generic weather and climate. What are the services we need to continue to provide services, weather and climate, and of course we have to improve. Then the ocean weather, various ships as well as fishermen and many people are there in the ocean. How the weather information in the ocean, so we try to provide in day to day. It is all routine operational activities. And also we provide the potential fishing zones. And this year also we have special things which I come back to later. And continuously we monitoring not only coastal water, quality of the water in the entire coast for the, as per SDG 14 goal, but also we monitor earthquake in entire country. And also various hazards, whenever disasters are happening, we come forward, especially for cyclone, tsunamis, and harmful algal bloom, or marine heat wave, or any other extreme events, we try to provide these services. And finally, we are also making various Antarctic, Arctic, and Himalaya and Southern Ocean expeditions. These are all routine one. Coming back to each mission, what is that we have delivered, or what is that we have achieved, or what has come out in this year? And the mission Mosam, of course, the January 14th of this 2025, Honorable Prime Minister has announced the mission Mosam. It has been launched. After the launching, immediately after that, we are able to make it because of various HPC, high performance computing is available, which was last quarter of 2024 has been installed. So making use of that, we are able to do Bharat forecast system. It is up to 6 kilometer. 6 kilometer resolution is the global record. No other country is giving 6 kilometer record except India. And the second important thing is seasonal forecast. So every year we give the seasonal forecast. And this year seasonal forecast, what we have forecast is about 105% of annual mean of 100 years. And what is observed is about 108. It is a consecutive years within 3% error, we are able to provide the seasonal forecast. This is forecasted in the month of April, how the next season monsoon will be there up to June to September. So we are able to do not only quantity of the rainfall, but also in the spatial distribution, we are able to provide very accurately this year, because we have very clearly told that only Northeast and Kashmir region will be deficient, whereas all other region will be quantum of plenty of rainfall will be happening. It has happened. And the third one is, of course, weather info. Now we are able to reach the weather forecast to various means. Either it is a Mausam app or Mausam Gram. Mausam Gram is basically you give a pin code or any of the taluk in their website, you will be able to get the forecast of next 10 days for that particular pin code. So that is what Mausam Gram, because that is very handy for their district collectors to make use of it. And WhatsApp, all the fishermen, sorry, not only fishermen, but also in the what is called farmers has been given the WhatsApp things. We are able to communicate with the WhatsApp, all the weather information to various farmers. So our reach, we want to increase in various means of media, that is we have made it. And we have strengthened the various atmospheric observation, whether radars or airport observations or various aerosols as well as sailimometers and many things we are able to make it under mission motion. And also we are able to setting up urban meteorology, because major centers, especially major cities, Delhi, Chennai, and Calcutta and Mumbai, we are able to make enormous observations. We are planning to have more than hundreds of AWS and few what is called 6 or 7 radars. We are planning to make it. We have already started in what is called NCR region as well as Chennai and Mumbai. We have already set up some of the radars and observation network. It is still going on full-fledged one. It will take about another 6 months. And we also made the air quality decision support system. So this is a support basically used for various city, including Delhi, for a crop forecast. Because we are monitoring and we are giving the forecast. And we made a 3D printing of AWS, because we want to go for very large number of automatic weather stations. So we are going to make it at least more than 10,000 in the country. For that, we are making it automatic weather station 3D printer and install. I think from next month, we are going to start installing in Delhi for at least about 200 location in Delhi. And also we have developed a new land ocean atmospheric coupled model, because this coupled model is required if you want to go for beyond 10 days forecast. We need a medium range forecast. For that, we have to combine all the coupled model. So now we have made it operationalized, this developed and semi-operationalized. And apart from that, most importantly, we are also making use of the AIML models of 3 kinds, and which we are able to do it semi-operationally. Maybe in this monsoon season, we will fuse them, not only physics-based numerical model, but also AML-based model. We are going to fuse them. So these are the major things which we have done in the mission Mosam. Next one. Under the deep ocean mission, of course, one of the ambitious things, a human submersible for 500 meters, we have already, wet test has been completed in the harbor, various acoustic, telephone, all other things, we are able to test it. And it is ready, except waiting. We are waiting for one more component. It has to come from abroad. And that, if it comes, then we will be able to make it test this human submersible this year itself. And also we have made Aquanauts train and dived up to first time Indian aquanauts has dived up to 5,000 meter depth in Atlantic Ocean. And there are many new services has been launched. And many important one is basically KILSA fisheries forecast. We are able to announce that this year, last year, 2025. That means where you can get KILSA fish. Earlier year we have done for tuna fish where you will get it, but this year we have gone for another specific species specific forecast. And also acoustic test facility we have dedicated to the nation, and one more LTTD desalination plant in Lakshadweep we have installed. And there are about 25 seamounts we have surveyed because we need to do entire biodiversity mapping we need to do. That is one of our mandate under deep ocean mission. Already we have surveyed 25 seamounts, and there we have identified 48 new species we have discovered. And apart from that, there are new records. New species in the global ocean. New record means in Indian Ocean it is the first time we have found, but whereas other ocean it is found. In elsewhere, Atlantic and other thing, it is already available. And also we have discovered hydrothermal sulfides and massive sulfides deposit in the Indian Ocean. We are able to identify using AUV and various other ROVs. And the last one is, next slide, the Prithvi mission. So this is basically under this mission we have undertook first, we have made a dedicated what is called expedition. In first time we have done in East Greenland Sea. We are able to do it. First time we have gone for open ocean in the Arctic expedition. And also we have undertook first dedicated supply of Antarctic cargo, because earlier cargo goes to South Africa and other thing. Now it is, we are able to facilitate flight from Goa to directly to Indian Maitri station to land. So that we are able to facilitate from this year. And also deployed indigenous developed ROV, especially the under ice in the Antarctic. We try to go there and see the how it's evolving, whether it is a heat is what is called pumping from the ocean or through atmosphere. We want to monitor. For that we have deployed first time indigenous ROV. And also we are monitoring continuously glacier melt in Himalaya. We are able to see that extremely high melt in the Barasingh Glacier this year. And we also prepared a comprehensive shoreline management for the two states, because these are the two states prone to coastal erosion. We have made a comprehensive plan and given to the state government for their implementation. And from the seismic, 18 broadband seismometers we have been deployed in the Indian Ocean, basically to make understanding the Indian Ocean geoid low. And there are many other what is called spawning ground for the especially in the West Coast, where the spawning, because we have to, one of our mandate is 30 by 30 is one of our vision. Basically 2030, we need to protect 30% of the ocean in the EEZ. So we are looking at where are all the spawning ground is available. So that region we want to protect. For that, we are mapping that spawning ground where it is happening. We are able to map in West Coast. And also we have made some of the submarine groundwater discharge assessment technique, especially the river is what we are seeing. The river goes into the ocean, but also there is a underground, there is a river goes into the sea. So that we are able to map it in the many regions. Now we are going to, for all over India, we want to map this discharge ground. So these are some of the salient achievements during last 1 year, and hope we will be able to do much more in the coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now I invite Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, Professor A.K. Sochi, to give his remarks.
Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, our Science Secretaries, Mr. Karandikar, Mr. Gokhale, Dr. Kalai Selvi, Dr. Ravichandran, DGPIB, Mrs. Mattu JP Singh ji, ladies and gentlemen, and media people. This event, which was also held last year, is a very, very welcome event. I really thank our Honorable Minister for conceiving this, because this event really brings to fore what all has happened in the last year. It is very inspiring and spirit lifting. It really puts our science and technology ecosystem in the forefront of taking India to be the Viksit Bharat. So congratulations to all the 4 departments and congratulations to the Honorable Minister for spearheading this. My remarks today will be in the nature of overall context of S&T ecosystem. Because we all know that when we look at science today, we must look at it with a broader lens where it is no longer about what is happening in a single laboratory or a specific department. It is really about how ideas overlap and how different disciplines connect. And this is what I would like you to see in the presentations which were made today. We know that in our system, different ministries and departments lead their own initiative, and yet there is a crosstalk and collaboration. And the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor is positioned to foster these collaborations and connect across ministries and departments. I'm happy to see that many of the missions which were talked about this morning, National Quantum Mission led by DST, or the Deep Ocean Mission steered by MOES, BioE3 policy driven by DBT, and many others, they were discussed and conceived in PM STIC, Prime Minister's Science, Technology, Innovation Advisory Council. And it is heartening to see that these are doing very well. Now, our collective approach in nurturing the S&T ecosystem is to bring synergy among the players. For example, as was again mentioned in DST's presentation, if we look at Anusandhan National Research Foundation program, which was launched last year, the pair initiative, which has established 7 hubs and 45 spokes, connecting top institutions to the institutions where we need to build research capacities. This is just one example. Another initiative of the Mission AI for Science and Engineering, again, is embedding artificial intelligence as a core enabler for India's scientific and engineering enterprise, which is co-funded along with ANRF by partners with MOES, DBT, MIT, CSIR, and DRDO. So this is something, it really brings the synergy in our efforts. Now, the leadership of our country has repeatedly said it's not only about strong commitment to research, but also a deeper understanding that how scientific discoveries lead to outcomes which really benefit the society. And in that context, we need to see how do we enable our researchers to focus on deep tech innovations and science. So in last year, various reforms were introduced, which really cut across all ministries, science ministries and departments. And these reforms were introduced to enhance ease of innovation, research and science. In fact, there was a press briefing in this very hall when some of these were elaborated. There we identified the bottlenecks and how we empower institutional heads with greater autonomy, raised procurement thresholds and so on, which is really to make ease of doing science much more proactive. Now, another turning point, which was again mentioned in DST presentation, is this RDI fund of 1 lakh crore to nurture R&D in the private sector. Now, this private sector R&D will obviously take the research in academic sectors and national labs along with that. And this is something, in my mind, is one of the biggest disruptive transformation which has happened in the last 75 years. This RDI fund for encouraging R&D in private sector is going to be a path setting, and I'm very sure that we will see the results of this initiative in the coming years. And this is again where our 4 science departments will be deeply involved, and along with that, our academic institutes and startups and so on. So this is something very, very hopeful, which 2025 year 2025 has brought out. So I thought I'll re-emphasize how this is going to be a path breaker. Now, when we talk of RDI fund and ANRF thing to take TRL 3 to TRL 6, this bridging program, we need something what we call technology readiness level. How do we assess what technology readiness level it is? So far, it has been pretty subjective. When you ask the researchers and innovators, there is no definitive way to assess the TRL level. Taking that as a deficiency in our system, our office prepared this National Technology Readiness Assessment Framework in collaboration with CII, and this was launched very recently. It has been put for public consultation until 31st January 2026, and I encourage all of you to really look at it, because we really need to see how we assess the technology readiness level of a innovation, and this is something for all of us to work on. So again, I think I will not take too much time to say that last year we saw the voice of Indian S&T through ASTIC, which was mentioned. Again, a very important initiative which this government took. ASTIC 2025, in my mind, and I think as we have seen from all others, was a huge success, which really showcased India's science and technology outcome, but also the roadmap which India will be taking in all these cutting edge technologies. So again, we had a huge participation, and from all the stakeholders, where we also had Nobel laureate, field medalists, thousands of innovators, and wonderful exhibition of the startup. So this is something again I thought I'll mention how 2025 brought this up. We also had our 8 S&T clusters under our office. We had a first international cluster conference, which again showed how we can bring various stakeholders together along with the international partners. 2026 again is very hopeful. We all look forward to many more initiatives, many more programs, not only to initiate but also to strengthen whatever is going on. So the 2 programs which I can mention from our office, which we look forward to launch, is the National Plant Health Initiative, which will again be complement the One Health Initiative, where we brought human health, animal health, and the wildlife together. Now this Plant Health Initiative will integrate with that, and I would like to see this cell and gene therapy initiative, which is being steered by DBT, to really make an impact in coming 2026. So I think I see a great opportunity, great hope, and with the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister and our Honorable Minister, we will see many more S&T initiatives. And when you meet on first week of January 2027, I'm sure we will have many more things to cheer about. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I request Honorable Minister Sir to address the media.
Thank you. We have amongst us the Principal Scientific Advisor, Professor Ajay Sood, Professor Abhay Karandikar, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, Professor Dr. M. Ravi Chandran, and Director General PIB. I think this is the very first press conference in this room in 2026. So we all need to compliment each other for that. And if given a choice, we could have done it yesterday also, but more for the convenience of those sitting in the audience, it was not done because the media person may not feel very comfortable coming early morning on the 1st of January. So we are here today on the 2nd. Anyway, thank you very much for sparing your time. And as you saw, these two ministries getting together to hold this briefing about the major achievements of 2025. Now, Science and Technology is a unique ministry that it has 3 secretaries instead of 1. So that is because sometimes many of our friends who are used to other ministries take some time to actually decipher what it's all about. So we have Secretary Department of Science and Technology, we have Secretary DSIR, and we have Secretary Biotechnology, Department of Biotechnology. Now, I think keeping the tone and tenor of what the media is nowadays carrying forward, as the Prime Minister also made a mention, this year has been the year of reforms, and reforms express, as is being mentioned. So if you talk of reform express, I think in a single sentence, the carry home message would be the reform express of India is being driven by technology. And the co-drivers are sitting on the 2 sides of me. So, because all the reforms, regardless of the department, regardless of the ministries, even in governance, even in administration, have been entirely technology driven to a lesser or greater extent, rather greater extent than lesser. So that is one thing. And that also has been possible because this government, ever since 2014, has been giving a very high priority to science, technology, innovation in every sphere. And what doesn't often occur to our mind is that if you track down the Independence Day addresses of the Honorable Prime Minister from 2014, which was his first Independence Day address as Prime Minister, down to 2025, you would find that each of the addresses is dominated by a scientific theme. In the very first address in 2014, he spoke about cleanliness, he spoke about Swachhata, which has a huge bearing on hygiene, also on the health, particularly those of the young females. That's why he insisted on the building of female toilets, because we know the kind of morbidity and urinary tract infections, which had been affecting the younger population in this country because of the bad hygiene facilities. Then subsequently, in the very next Independence Day 2015, he spoke about Startup India, Stand Up India. In the following address, he spoke about digital health. Then in one of his addresses, he spoke about Gaganyaan. Then again, not once, but twice, I think consecutively, that was 2023 and 2024, he spoke about what Dr. Ravi Chandran was mentioning, the Deep Ocean Mission, which means what a high priority this government gives to this initiative that has been undertaken. And also, I think at the back of the mind, the idea was to create awareness about the general populace about what it's all about, because a new kind of an initiative, possibly the first of its kind, being undertaken by India instead of in spite of the fact that we have about 12,000 kilometer long coastal area. Then one of the Independence Day addresses, rather the recent one, he spoke about privatization of nuclear sector, which is not privatization, that would not be the appropriate expression, rather the private participation in the nuclear sector, and which was of course now accomplished through this Shanti Act. Then again, in the same Independence address, he spoke about biotechnology policy, which we also heard him say here. So, and he also spoke about the Sudarshan Chakra. So you can see each of the addresses has been dominated by a scientific theme. And Independence Day address has its meaning across the globe because it is the declaration of the intent of the government in place. So the entire world keenly looks forward to what the Prime Minister says on the 15th. So that be it. Now, And we also are very conscious of the fact that when we talk of Viksit Bharat, the next 20 years, the next decade and a half, the entire future growth of the country is going to be technology driven, going to be innovation driven. When we move on from rank 4, because we have moved on from rank 11 to 4 now, when we move on to 3 and then 2 and finally to rank 1, the entire value addition to our economy is going to be from the sectors which were being explored, but not to the fullest extent. The fullest extent of exploration will happen through technology, means scientific. B, through sectors which were hardly explored or almost unexplored, like the ocean, the Himalayas, the space. And therefore, these are now the, I think, areas that we are keenly looking forward to. And if we succeed, we may not even have to wait for 2047. Now, as far as the 4 presentations made over here, I will not be repetitive and go through all this, but some of the important features, because having closely worked with media and also partly in media, at the end of the day, I sometimes find one of the news friends asking, "साहब ये सब तो हो गया, लेकिन खबर क्या है?" मतलब ये कि मैं तो कॉपी चढ़ा दूंगा, ऊपर ये चढ़ा दूंगी, तो एडिटर उसको फेंक देगा. So बताइए इसमें से खबर क्या है? So just for the benefit of the friends in the room, Khabar from the point of view of the Department of Science and Technologies, I think is the first time ever any government has come forward with an initiative to support the private sector. You've heard of the private sector being asked to donate to government. Here, the government is donating a fund to accelerate the private sector participation, which is the Research Development Innovation Fund of rupees 1 lakh crore. I think unique of its kind. PSA would wear me out. You hardly find it even in other countries. But since we are opening up in a big way to a greater integration between the public and the private sector, so therefore, with all the sensitivity and consciousness, it was realized that we have to give them an initial push in the noble hope that then finally they would take over. So, and secondly is the other news of the year is the National Research Foundation, which has been keeping in mind the Indian ethos named Anusandhan. Again, this is also distinct because not many countries have this, some of them just US, Germany, but I can say that the model that we have adopted is better than all the other models because we took about 2 years to study each of the models. And then, of course, as the PSA rightly announced, what are they going to be the benefits of it? It's because general complaint was that most of the government funds were available to the first line institutions like IITs, etc., because the parameters were such. So that would be addressing one issue. Now this will lead to a greater democratization of research, democratization of the also science education. And B, it will also help us change our mindset from always looking at government for every support. So almost 50-60% of the resource in the National Research Foundation is going to be from the non-government sources. I would not say private sector because no two words mean the same. It would also be the charity trust, it will be philanthropy because that culture didn't exist hitherto in this country. So the non-government sources will take over gradually the growth story of this country. So that is going to be one. National Quantum Mission, of course, important because unlike in the past where we were entering into a new domain 10-15 years later than the other countries, like it happened in case of IT, we were very late. It's now we are among the 3-4 elite nations in quantum mission. And the same time, as he was mentioning, for the benefit of the common citizen, the students, beautiful programs like NITI, like National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovation. And also, with the whole of government approach, the DST department has also found its outreach in the universities and the lesser institutions, as I said, which were not getting the kind of funds that they often look for, and they complain that the A-degree, so-called A-degree institutions got away with the bulk of funds. So you have the PERS program, which is also a unique one, the promotion of university research and scientific excellence, which is supporting universities, smaller education institutions across the country, also setting up incubators across. And very futuristically, the Vaibhav program, which somehow didn't find mention here, but this is an attempt to attract the Indian diaspora scientific scholars working abroad to come home, and we would facilitate projects for them, couple them with some of their counterparts over here in some of the leading institutions. We recently, as the PSA was mentioned during the STIC, we also had a separate exhibition session with them. We already have, I think, 37 already in place. But there again, as I was saying yesterday also, science doesn't progress in isolation. We are part of a larger ecosystem where the culture and the social factors equally operate. So our advice now to the new um, entrants into the area who go abroad for upgradation is that you plan out when to come back. Because once you stay back for 10, 15 days, and even if you want to come back, the other extraneous factors don't allow you to come back. Like you raised a family, you raised children who've never been to India. So then the choice is either to be back here or to stay back with the family. So before the other factors take over, if you go there with a time plan, it's easier for you to make a return. And here we are trying to facilitate in whatever way possible. Then, as far as the CSIR is concerned, I think 3 or 4 success stories which have a global relevance. Dr. Kalai Selvi went through that picture, is the steel slag port road. In a heterogeneous country like India, we have certain regions where the work period is just about 3 or 4 months in a year. Like for example, Northeast, most of the time it's raining, or some of the hill terrains. So it's not easy to construct roads, and even if you have constructed one, it doesn't sustain for very long. And here you have mastered, it is serving both the purposes of a robust road construction as well as waste to wealth. The first pilot project was done with the steel slag collected from Tata's Jamshedpur, taken all the way to Arunachal, taken also to Surat, and build a road which doesn't require much of maintenance, has a longer life, and sustains itself in difficult terrains. Then, of course, the plastic waste roads, using plastic again to increase the resilience of the road construction. Paracetamol, she's already mentioned, the importance lies as the first time an indigenous antipyretic is being developed. There's been a lot of cancer research breakthroughs which are happening both here, also in the Department of Atomic Energy, which we are not discussing today, and malaria vaccine. In the vaccine story, in fact, nowadays I was suggesting that we could have theme-based programs because there are a lot of interdisciplinary overlap happening. So we have a series of vaccines coming out from biotechnology and also coming out from the CSIR. And as far as the agriculture sector is concerned, the media persons would be glad to know that now McDonald is serving millet prepared by CSIR. So you are welcome to visit one of the McDonald's. We could also arrange a visit by you. All the outlets in Delhi, I think there are 16 or 17 of them. The technology was developed by the CSIR Institute in Mysuru, which is the Central Food Research Technology Institute, something like that. Yeah. And now we are also trying to apply the same experience on developing other food products. So that is one of the beautiful examples of Swadeshi coming home. So it's Videshi adopting Swadeshi. And that is what is McDonald offering you, different preparations of the millet. The aircraft, they have come out of the Hansa. Now with the aviation sector rapidly on the expansion mode, we would require more and more of pilots. Many of the pilots have to go abroad for training because they don't have enough of flying clubs in India. If they do have, they don't have many of aircrafts, trainer aircrafts, which typically require 2-seaters. And here CSIR has taken an initiative, again in a PPP model in Bangalore to develop such aircraft. So we are in fact silently also contributing, supplementing the kind of work which is being done by the other sectors, the other ministries, which may not be much talked about because when it reaches there, it becomes their ownership. But the script writers are the gentlemen and the gentle lady sitting on the two sides of me. And of course, a program which was also very close to Prime Minister's heart is One Day as a Scientist. So I think this is also a new initiative taken by this government. Scientists are visiting the educational institutions and holding the interactions over there. The Rashtriya Puraskar has undergone a new format now. That is also happened. It's been established this year because the first of its kind happened last year, but this time we have actually matured. So it is now on the pattern of the other awards, like when maybe Dada Sahab Award or the sports award. So we have a Gyan Ratan, which is lifetime. We have Gyan Rishi, which is for the best scientist of the year. We have a Gyan Yuva Bhatnagar Award, which is like a debut award or something like that, below 45. And finally, Vigyan Team Award, which has gone to, again, CSIR this year for their Purple Revolution, the lavender. And then, of course, one is the biotechnology is already spoken about, but bioeconomy is going to be important because the next decade, the entire economy is going to shift from manufacturing to bioengineering, recycling, genetics, and therefore their best is yet to come. Better is already come. And as I said, PM spoke about this policy even in biomanufacturing also. We are now standing number 12 in the world and number 3 India Pacific. So instead of being importers of medical devices, now we have transformed into exporters. Our medical devices, our heart valves are going to other countries at a much cost-effective rate, which is quite contrary to what was happening earlier. Similarly, our vaccine is going to 30 or odd countries across the world, different forms. So it's a virtually it's a 360 changeover, and we are now being hailed as the preventive healthcare leaders. So similarly, I'm not going to detail. I just thought what would make news. Of course, we are already into genes. Yes, the biotechnology department has come out with the first ever indigenous antidote. It also happened at the beginning of last year. So nephrithromycin. Earlier on, the salt would be brought from outside. The manufacturing would be done in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, some of our pharma hubs. Now, this is all developed by the Department of Biotechnology, and it's being further carried to the market by an Indian-based multinational company, which has its headquarters in Mumbai. So that is another achievement. So it's again keeping in tune with the Atmanirbhar Bharat and also vocal for local. And the first ever trial on hemophilia, the clotting disorder, which happens due to deficiency of clotting factor 8, also accomplished by the Department of Biotechnology in collaboration with a medical institution in Vellore. And as far as the Ministry of Earth Sciences is concerned, this year we observed with the beginning of year, January, 150 years. One of the oldest organizations of India, I think next only to Survey of India. And it has a rich legacy. Dr. Jitendra has very beautifully explained. But what is important is that when we came in 2014, we just had about 47 AQ stations. Today we have close to 120, 130, 105. Sorry, 15 every year. So we've almost gone 3 times higher. That is the pace of development which has happened, almost 50% increase in the whole car facility. And we have sought to graduate from one level to other, from the short range, the long range. Now we are into now. Now means 3 hours. So you would be in a position to decide when you enter this building, whether you carry umbrella or not, and when you go out, whether you leave the umbrella here or you have to carry it back. You just have to look into the watch and the WhatsApp. So that is very handy facility, particularly for high rain zones, monsoon zones like Mumbai, Chennai. In fact, it was started from there itself. And another first of its kind, a global story, which found a very brief mention over here, could have found a more detail, which also makes news, is the desalination plant in Lakshadweep. An island surrounded by water, but there was no potable water, which lives up to that Victorian adage, water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Now we have so much of water there that you could even transport into other regions. Unfortunately, we can't do it because the cost of transport is very high, carrying something from Lakshadweep to the other parts of the country or the world. So, and the technology has been very meticulously put in place. Water from the sea is processed through furnaces, the vapors go up, come back, give you the water, and you could also use it for energy. And the ocean mission, one submersible this year, up to 50 meters. 500. Next year, 6,000. So next year, we will have the maximum sea depth, which is about 5,000, 6,000. So simultaneously, when Gaganyaan carries one Indian human being into this space, we would have one Indian human being going deep sea next year up to 6,000. So that makes a news. One going in the outer space, one going in the deep sea in 2027, and 26 will be the final rehearsal year for both of these expeditions. Already, like Rakesh Sharma was the first one to gain experience, went up, but went to a Soviet mission. Similarly, our one team has already gone to a French expedition this year to gain. So, and in the years to come, this year we would also be preparing ourselves to engage ourselves into another very ambitious area, that is ocean energy. Like nuclear energy contributing 10% by 2047, clean energy, we'll have clean energy sources of ocean resources, which would be solar panels, which would be ocean winds, which would be ocean friction happening when the rivers join thermal energy. So we have 3-4 sources which were never looked into, and we have vast oceans. So that will be our major contributor to the clean energy. STIC and IIS already spoken about. I'm not going to repeat anything of that sort. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So now we open the floor for questions. Any questions? Yes, 54.
नमस्ते सर, आपको और पूरी टीम को सर नववर्ष की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। सर, आपके पास जल और हवा दोनों मंत्रालय हैं और 2026 में 5 बड़े काम जो पब्लिक को, कॉमन मैन को दिखने वाले हैं, वो क्या होंगे सर? और दूसरा, एयर क्वालिटी को लेकर के रविचंद्रन जी ने कहा कि हम बहुत सारे काम कर रहे हैं और दिल्ली की जो स्थिति है, तो ऐसे में क्या कोई इस तरह की मशीन या इन फ्यूचर डेवलप किए जा रहे हैं ताकि हम एयर क्वालिटी को मेंटेन कर सकें? और तीसरा सर, लेवेंडर जो पर्पल रेवोल्यूशंस है, इस पे स्टार्टअप्स की बात हो रही है, जम्मू कश्मीर में हमने देखा भी जा करके, तो ऐसे में क्या देश भर में भी इसको लाने की योजना?
लास्ट ईयर भी सवाल किया था सर आपसे कि आपने इतना साइंस डेवलपमेंट किया है, साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी अचीवमेंट है, अभी तक ये नहीं पता लग पा रहा है कि पोल्यूशन हो क्यों रहा है। क्वेश्चन वो अभी सालों से ही पड़ा हुआ है कि पोल्यूशन क्यों हो रहा है दिल्ली में या और शहरों में।
You will take up this pollution.
The ministry
नहीं बनेगी, वो नहीं, इसलिए नहीं बनेगी क्योंकि आपका इशारा एग्जीक्यूशन की तरफ, वो मंत्रालय दूसरा है।
actually the pollution actually in Delhi, it is unfortunately we will not able to do any geoengineering or anything. We need to have a better policy in place. But our ministry's mandate is only we observe where are all the actual pollution is happening, and tomorrow what will happen. Our next few days, what is the forecast we give based on the weather related things. So based on that, the GRUP forecast they give or the CA give. That is our main mandate. But whether we can do anything innovative, still it is very difficult. It is a ministry
So
of other.
their mandate is only to give the measurement कि ये है और ये होने वाला है। करना क्या है वो दूसरा मंत्रालय है।
Tomorrow, or you are talking about next year, or forecast basically we will be able to do next few days. We cannot say few 10 days ahead or maybe a month ahead. It is not possible.
वो कह रहे हैं ना कि वो बात है, तो मैंने आपसे कहा था मेरे से खबर नहीं बनेगी।
Anybody else?
लेवेंडर का जहाँ तक है, लेवेंडर का काम तो बहुत लोकप्रिय भी हुआ है, अभी दूसरे प्रदेशों में शुरू हुआ है, उत्तराखंड में भी शुरू हो गया, हिमाचल प्रदेश में, इनफैक्ट हिमाचल प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री जी ने एक वहाँ टीम भी भेजी थी, उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री जी ने भी स्वयं व्यक्तिगत रुचि ले रहे हैं, और जम्मू कश्मीर में चूंकि 1-2 स्थानों पर हुआ था, बाकी क्षेत्रों में भी जहाँ जहाँ जलवायु उसके अनुकूल है वहाँ भी किया जा रहा है। स्ट्रिक्टली स्टार्टअप्स तो कम होंगे, लेकिन जो रोजगार कमाने वाले हैं उसमें से वो लगभग 3-4 हजार है।
51.
अगर स्टार्टअप की परिभाषा देखें तो लगभग 10-15 वो भी होंगे, लेकिन और अब हम उसको नेक्स्ट लेवल पे ले जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं क्योंकि उसकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी कम ना हो, जैसे संख्या बढ़े तो फ्यूजन कैसे करना है, उसको दूसरे परफ्यूम्स और दूसरे जो उस तरह के ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जो इसके सोर्स हो सकते हैं, उनके साथ कैसे जोड़ना है, उसके ऊपर भी काम चल रहा है।
Honorable Minister, this side, sir, on your left. Here, sir. सर, आपने बहुत अच्छी अच्छी बातें बताई साइंस के बारे में, और इसमें देश क्या कर रहा है उसके बारे में भी। हम लोग अब तीसरे स्थान पे आ गए हैं इकोनॉमी में, वो भी बहुत अच्छी बात। लेकिन मेरा आपसे एक क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर, जो अवेयरनेस है वो एग्जीबिशन, जो आप लोग उसको सरल तरीके से बताएं एग्जीबिशन के अंदर कि देश में क्या हो रहा है, टेक्नोलॉजी, साइंस, और जो भी आप लोग बताना चाहते हैं, उससे क्या है कि हमारे जो स्टूडेंट हैं, यंगस्टर है, वो हमारी देश की जान है, और जैसे जैसे उनको पता चलता जाएगा वो इसके ऊपर अपने आप को इसमें इन्फ्यूज़ करेंगे, और उसके लिए हमारा देश जो है वो जब पूरे लोग साइंस की तरफ अट्रैक्ट होंगे तो मुझे लगता है कि साइंस ही एक ऐसी चीज़ है जिससे देश आगे बढ़ सकता है। थैंक यू सर।
नहीं, आपने ठीक कहा, लेकिन इसमें जो दिक्कतें आ रही हैं उसमें क्योंकि आपकी भी हमें सहयोग दरकार रहेगा। एक तो सच है कि हम उसमें धीरे धीरे और प्रगति कर रहे हैं। पहले हमको ये समझना है कि वी हैव टू रीच देम इन द मीडियम दैट दे एक्सेस। अब ना वो अखबार का इश्तहार देखते हैं ना किताब देखते हैं, तो आपको सोशल मीडिया के जरिए जाना है, चाहे वो आप रील बना रहे हैं, चाहे आप इंस्टाग्राम पे हैं, या चाहे आप दूसरे तरीके से इस मीडियम को यूज़ करते हैं, तो उसको हम धीरे धीरे बढ़ा रहे हैं। बल्कि अब ये मौसम के भी ऐप्स बन चुके हैं, डेडिकेटेड ऐप्स किसानों के लिए। और दूसरी दिक्कत क्या है कि जिनके लिए बने उन्हें जानकारी का अभाव है, दैट दे डोंट नो, दैट दे डोंट नो। अब उसका क्या किया जाए? उसके लिए अब चूंकि ये नया एक विकल्प आया है हमारे सामने, तो हमारा माइंड सेट नहीं बदल रहा। अब लोगों को ये नहीं पता कि इसमें क्या क्या कुछ है। सब कुछ इसमें है, जो आपने बातें कही ठीक कही, लेकिन हकीकत क्या है कि इसके अंदर सब कुछ है। जैसे आप तरह तरह की जानकारी इसमें डालते हैं पूछने के लिए, अगर सिर्फ ये पूछा जाए कि मुझे खेती के विषय में फलां जगह के लिए चाहिए कब अनुकूल जलवायु होगी, तो ये आपको जवाब दे देता है। या ये पूछा जाए कि मैं 11वीं कक्षा की छात्रा हूँ, मुझे किसी तरह से इस विभाग से मदद लेनी है, तो क्या किया जाए, तो ये कहेगा आपके लिए डेडिकेटेड स्कीम है विज्ञान ज्योति। यदि ये कहा जाए कि मैं अध्यापक हूँ किसी विश्वविद्यालय का, मेरे गाइडेंस में फलां थीसिस है, उसकी कोई मदद हो सकती है क्या, तो ये कहेगा हाँ एक स्कीम है। पर सब कुछ इसमें लिखा है। और आपको मैं बता दूं एक राज की बात, कि परखने के लिए मैं भी इसको करता रहता हूँ। आज मैंने सुबह लगाया कि पर्स का क्या बोलता है, इसने बोला, इसने समझाया क्या है, इंस्पायर। लेकिन हो क्या रहा है कि इसके अंदर क्या क्या है उसकी भी हमें समझ नहीं आ रही। तो ये हमें अपने आप को भी समझाना और बच्चों को भी समझाना। बहुत कुछ हम इसमें डाटा बढ़ा भी रहे हैं। वही मैंने कहा, डॉक्टर रविचंद्रन जी कह रहे हैं कि इसके मीडिया का भी सहयोग चाहिए।
138
इंडिया इंटरनेशनल साइंस फेस्टिवल का एक्चुअली उद्देश्य ही पूरा वो है कि साइंस को बच्चों तक कैसे ले जाएं। तो इंडिया इंटरनेशनल साइंस फेस्टिवल इस बार जो एग्जीबिशन थी, शायद आपको देखा होगा या रिपोर्ट होगी, उसमें कई हजारों बच्चे आए और जिन्होंने ये एग्जीबिशन वगैरह देखी।
अभी डॉक्टर राजेश गोखले ने जो जिक्र किया डिजाइन चैलेंज का, वो भी यही है कि बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के विषय में कितनी जानकारी है आपको, आप इस प्रतियोगिता में भाग लें। जो हमारी पॉलिसी है कि वी आर अमंग द फर्स्ट इन द वर्ल्ड टू हैव rolled out a dedicated biotechnology policy called BioE3, biotechnology for environment, for employment, for economy. अब प्रतियोगिता के माध्यम से, ये प्रतियोगिता से उत्साहित होकर के बच्चा पढ़ेगा, ये है क्या, चलिए शायद मुझे इससे अंक प्राप्त हो, कोई पुरस्कार मुझे हासिल हो, इसलिए इन्होंने ये चैलेंज थ्रो किया।
सर
138
शर्मा हूँ, दैनिक भास्कर जी। सर मैं अनिरुद्ध हूँ, दैनिक भास्कर से। सर मैं ये जानना चाह रहा था, अभी जो आपने जिक्र किया और CSIR वाली जो बात थी कि कोई मिलेट का कोई प्रोडक्ट बनाया जो मैकडोनल्ड्स है, वो क्या प्रोडक्ट है या कितने प्रोडक्ट हैं और वो किस तरह से उनके साथ MOU होकर मिल रहे हैं, या वो पूरी क्या बात है वो जरा बताएं, क्योंकि उसमें बड़ी रुचि है।
हाँ नहीं, वो दरअसल हमारा जो सबसे पहला, शायद पहले एक दो आरंभिक स्टार्टअप थे, वो भी मिलेट के इसी संस्थान से हुए थे। मैसूर में हमारा एक संस्थान है, सेंट्रल फूड टेक्नोलॉजी रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट, हाँ फूड टेक्नोलॉजी, तो वो एक तरह का दुनिया के श्रेष्ठ संस्थानों में से है जो इस क्षेत्र में काम कर रहा है। तो उन्होंने टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से मिलेट को किस प्रकार से अलग अलग व्यंजनों में उसको परिवर्तित करके पेश किया जाए, प्रेजेंटेबल बनाया जाए, उसके लिए उन्होंने काम किया, थोड़ा शोध भी किया। तो फिर उनके वैज्ञानिक यहाँ आए, मैकडोनल्ड वालों के साथ बैठे, मैकडोनल्ड को वो चीज़ पसंद आई और उनका आपस में एक मुआहदा हुआ। अब ये आपको हर आउटलेट में सर्व किया जा रहा है, उसमें सैंडविच भी हैं, उसमें क्या वो हॉट डॉग भी है,
प्रोटीन
स्लाइसेस भी हैं, अलग अलग व्यंजन है। और मुझे लगता है कि यू विल आल्सो अरेंज फॉर स्मॉल ट्रीट फॉर
नेक्स्ट टाइम
अनिरुद्ध जी एंड हिज टीम। मैडम मान गई हैं, आपकी सिफारिश हो गई।
39.
Yesterday we celebrated New Year in CSAR with the millet one only. So around
No, but
600.
sometime next
We'll arrange here
next
also.
meet you can arrange here.
Sure, we'll arrange.
लंच में ये रख देंगे।
It's on the web.
टेक्नोलॉजी वेबसाइट पे पूरी मिल जाएगी।
Yeah, we have. It is available there in their website also, and if need be, we can even share also with you. List of
39.
Good afternoon to everyone on the panel. This is Adarsh from All India Radio, Akashvani. Sir, my first question to you is the Axiom 4 mission was one of the biggest talking point for India last year. So how will the government keep this momentum going, especially in the context of Gaganyaan and deep sea exploration? And my second question is to Professor Sood. Sir, you mentioned that in 2026, there are many exciting initiatives and programs coming to keep this, to strengthen the existing programs and new programs as well. So can you please highlight more on these?
Yeah. Now, taking up the first part of your question, the Axiom did not come up for discussion because incidentally the Space Department is not being covered in this briefing. But nevertheless, since you raked it up, Axiom was important from our point of view for more than one reason. A, that it was a collaborative expedition, and it was also in a way recognition of Indian talent. So when Prime Minister was on a visit to Washington DC and he was holding parleys with the then President Biden, the suggestion came from that side that could we spare one of our astronauts for this expedition, and therefore that's how two of them went there. One was standby, the other one joined the crew. Secondly, it was important also because the main experiments, the most critical experiments were done by the Indian participant, the Indian astronaut who also happened to be pilot, that is Group Captain Shumashu. And the kits were developed by the department headed by Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, Department of Biotechnology. It's all indigenous. So kits developed by the Indian department, the Indian technologists, the Indian scientists, and experiments performed by. And the experiments also had a larger dimension. They were related primarily to two sectors. One is the health sector, the life sciences. Life sciences, two classes. One is myogenesis, what happens when the muscle gets wasted due to prolonged sitting, and how do you strategize its recovery, which is applicable normally also. If one of us has a foot fracture and you are asked to take bed rest, when you get up, then you have to go in for physiotherapy. So that was one. The other was related to the media persons also, faculty effects of the mental faculties due to constant watching of the gadgets, electronic gadgets. The other set was plant, how to grow proteins in the space, etc., high nutrition products. And now these experiments, when the inferences are finally concluded, would be benefiting not only India but the rest of the world. So it's very much in keeping with Prime Minister's Vishwa Bandhu mantra. That is now where we move from here. From this experience, and also now you have to take it as a sequential. The recent one, the communication satellite, also in a public-private participation model, a Texas-based company satellite was launched. But tomorrow, now I believe the communication ministry is in the process of contemplating policy about satellite phones. So when you have a satellite phone, you won't require towers, you won't require panels. So we are getting into that era, and we will not be left behind. We are already into this. So that satellite communication satellite was launched from Sriharikota, and the experience was also because the other part of the experience is a 6,000 kilogram weight of payload will enable us to gain experience when we are setting up higher payloads. Like when we set up our international space stations, the payload will be heavier. It's not going to be small rockets. Sometimes even 2 launching pads will be used simultaneously. And then finally, which of course we are envisaging for 2035 and 2040, the human being on the surface of Moon. So all the, and coupled with that, the docking and undocking, SpaceX, which happened. This year began with SpaceX and it concluded with this Texas communication satellite. So that docking and undocking is also going to be helpful, because when a human being goes into on the surface of Moon, how does he come out? How does he get back? So this is all sequential learning which is happening, and the cumulative learning will help us in the next. And 2027 will be Gaganyaan. This year possibly we'll have the last dress rehearsal with a robo called Vayomitra, and then 28 we'll have Chandrayaan 4. So we are already lined up in a very sequential fashion, going on from one level to the other. And the last expedition adds to our cumulative experience and expertise for the subsequent one.
Thank you, sir. 237.
Yeah, second part. Just briefly mentioned, I mentioned 2 immediate initiatives. One is the National Plant Health Initiative, which will look at the health of the plant species, and the second, cell and gene therapy I mentioned. In addition to that, whatever is needed for technology sovereignty of a country, we are looking at it. So one thing which is immediately going to be launched in coming weeks is the Drone Shakti mission. So that Drone Shakti mission is a 2-sided effort where incentives are being given to have manufacturing of the components which go into drones, not just assembling using imported parts. So that is a big thing. And the second thing is, what is the R&D needed for the high-end drones? So that again is being launched under ANRF, under Drone Shakti. So this is immediately thing. And whatever we need for technology sovereignty, for example, advanced manufacturing, what India needs to do, how we need to bring robotics in our fold is again being discussed, and this will be again looked at in what way we need to strengthen it. So there are many other initiatives which are in the making. I will not probably say all of them, but goal is to reach towards technology sovereignty.
237.
Sir, here. Hello. Dushmanta from newsbill.com. Sir, when India will have different time zones, because Madam from CSIR or maybe NPL, whoever can answer, is it
No, I think no, that is not, that is outside our mandate, because that's a policy this year. It's not taken by this ministry.
Because it's Kibutu to Kutch nearly 3,000, more than 3,000 kilometers away, and the time it may be nearly 2 hours different.
Well, that is not part of the
Okay.
263, please.
डॉक्टर साहब, अमरेंद्र गुप्ता बात कर रहा हूँ डीडी न्यूज से। वैभव पहल की आपने अभी जिक्र किया, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पहल है। भारत और जो बाहर वैज्ञानिक हैं उनके बीच में सेतु का काम कर रहा है। इस पहल के तहत कौन से बड़े ऐसे इनिशिएटिव्स या नवाचार हैं जो कुछ कंट्रीज के साथ ले रहे हैं, और उन कंट्रीज में किस तरह का पार्टिसिपेशन?
नहीं, कंट्रीज तो अभी मैं प्रोफेसर अवे को भी कहूँगा थोड़ा सा विस्तार में बता दें, क्योंकि काफी महत्वपूर्ण विषय है। 37 के साथ अभी तक हमारा हो चुका है, इस तरह का तालमेल बैठ गया है। उनको यहाँ पर ला करके उनकी रुचि का क्या विषय है, किसमें वो शोध कर रहे हैं या किसमें काम कर रहे हैं, किस क्षेत्र में, उसी के अनुकूलता से यहाँ पर कौन उनके साथ सहयोग करके काम कर सकता है, उसका एक शनाख्त की जाती है। उस इंस्टीट्यूट की कौन सा IIT है, IAS है, और वहाँ पे कौन से प्रोफेसर है। फिर उनके लिए अभी तक जो क्योंकि हमारा भी इसमें नया अनुभव है, अभी जो व्यवस्था है उसमें 3 वर्ष का अवधि काल रखा गया। उसके बाद उसके बारे में फैसला किया जा सकता है। लेकिन आपको जानकर ये खुशी होगी कि इतना उत्साह था इन सब सज्जनों में कि वो बार बार ये आग्रह करते थे कि कम से कम इसको 5 वर्ष कर दीजिए। लेकिन उसके लिए हमें अपनी व्यवस्थाएं उस तरह की बनानी होगी। उसमें देश, हर तरह के देश हैं, फ्रांस भी है, कनाडा भी है, UK भी है, USA भी है, जहाँ जहाँ भारतीय मूल के, और उनको जब वापस आते हैं तो उनको अपने विज्ञान के अतिरिक्त जिस तरह की वो देशभक्ति की भावना से बात करते हैं, और बहुत सारे लोग अपने मूल देहात जहाँ से वो निकल करके गए होते हैं वहां पर भी जाते हैं रिश्तेदारों से मिलने, तो इस प्रकार से वो देशभक्ति से ओतप्रोत होते हैं, तो उनका चेहरा देखने को बनता है। अब अभय जी बताएंगे आप कुछ?
आई थिंक मैं इसी क्रम में ये बताऊंगा कि इसका जैसा कि सर ने बताया कि 36 फर्स्ट कोहॉर्ट्स पे थे, और अभी जो था हमारा एप्लीकेशन उसमें 21 सिलेक्ट किए गए, कुल मिलाकर टोटल 57 है। लेकिन इस फेलोशिप प्रोग्राम का इतना उत्साह है कि कुल मिलाकर 750 से ज्यादा एप्लीकेशंस आई थी। मतलब 750 दोनों कोहॉर्ट मिलाकर 750 के जो हमारे भारतीय मूल के वैज्ञानिक के बाहर देशों में बस रहे हैं, उन्होंने भारतीय वैज्ञानिकों के साथ मिलकर इस तरह के कोलैबोरेटिव प्रोजेक्ट सबमिट किए थे। 2 कोहॉर्ट्स में 2023 से जब ये प्रोग्राम लॉन्च हुआ था, कुल मिला के 750 एप्लीकेशन आई और हमने 57 इस तरह की फेलोशिप्स अवार्ड की है। तो आगे जाकर और हमारा ये प्रयास है कि टोटल हम 70 इस तरह की वेब ऑफ फेलोशिप्स देंगे। लेकिन इस बारे में सबसे महत्वपूर्ण चीज ये है कि इन नंबर ऑफ एप्लीकेशन से ये पता पड़ता है कि भारतीय मूल के जो वैज्ञानिक दूसरे देशों में बसे हुए हैं वो हमारे देश के वैज्ञानिकों के साथ कोलैबोरेट करना चाहते हैं। तो इस मूल भाव को हम अभी आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। भले ही हमारे पास फेलोशिप्स देने की संख्या सीमित हो, लेकिन उनका जो उत्साह है उसको हम कैसे मेंटेन रख सके, ताकि ये जो कोलैबोरेशन हो रहा है वो वर्चुअल माध्यम से किसी वर्चुअल प्लेटफॉर्म में ऑनलाइन लाकर इसको हम आगे बढ़ा सके। तो इस तरह का एक वैभव कनेक्ट प्रोग्राम हम जल्दी लॉन्च करेंगे, जिसमें फेलोशिप तो कुछ सीमित संख्या में मिलेगी, लेकिन ये जो कोलैबोरेशंस है ये वर्चुअली या ऑनलाइन माध्यम से जारी रहे। नहीं, ये तो प्रोग्राम सारी कंट्रीज के लिए, भारतीय मूल के वैज्ञानिक किसी भी देश में हो, ऐसा कोई रेस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है कि सिर्फ अमेरिका से ही होना चाहिए या यूके से होना चाहिए।
Thank you, friends. I think, sir, there are no more questions. Thank you so much, sir.
ये नहीं पूछा कि वैभव एक्रोनिम का मतलब क्या है। इतने ज्यादा आदत हो गई, कंडीशनिंग हो गई हमारे मित्रों की कि वो पूछते ही नहीं है। अब जरा वैभव का एक्सपेंशन बताइए। नहीं वो वैश्विक, अच्छा oh very good, so you can say aloud for the benefit of others। अच्छा लगा कि आपने, देखिए नहीं तो कई बार एक्रोनिम कोई हमसे निधि का पूछना है तो उनको पता नहीं था निधि है क्या।
Thank you, sir.
ये कह रहे हैं तो KYC क्वेश्चन है। आपको इसी से अनुमान हो जाएगा कि ये जो 700 750 याचिकाएं आई हैं, इनको चयन करना पड़ता है। तो कुछ इनकी दिक्कतें होती है, कुछ विषयों के लिए अभी तैयार नहीं होते व्यवस्था करने को, या कई बार कुछ आर्थिक उस तरह की भी दिक्कतें होती है। अब धीरे धीरे अब इस अनुभव से हम भी अपने आप में थोड़ी सी व्यवस्थाओं में और प्रगति और विस्तार करेंगे।
Thank you, sir. Thank you, friends. Please join us for lunch. Thank you.